بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على حبيب الله سيدنا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين صدق الله العظيم. One of the human nature is that we learn from our surroundings. We in fact are a culmination. We are a result of interactions, our environment. If we notice as we grow up, if you do some introspection, you find you have the same habit as your parents. Good or bad. As you grow up, you begin to realize, oh, you know what, I'm doing this, my father used to do this. I'm doing this, my mom used to do this. Or for example, friends. The kind of friends you keep, the kind of company you keep, you find that those same qualities, those same actions, you find within yourself. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He orders the believers to develop taqwa, He doesn't just say, okay, go ahead, develop taqwa. Taqwa is something that every believer must inculcate. In fact, it's the very first attribute that Allah Ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah. If لَا مِنْ ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Meaning that if you want to get guidance from this Quran, you're going to have taqwa. If you don't have taqwa, you're not going to be able to benefit from this Quran. Taqwa being, again, this conscientiousness of Allah Ta'ala, that you're always aware Allah is watching me, Allah is seeing me. There's among the mashayikh of the past, there is one whose name was Sahal al-Tustari, rahimahullah. He used to say that when I was younger, my uncle was another very pious individual. I was, 5, 7 years old. He used to tell me, he said, do you do dhikr of Allah? Do you remember Allah? I said, how do I remember Allah? Every night, before you go to bed, say these 3 things, 3 times. Allahu ma'i, Allahu nadhiri, Allahu shahid. Okay? Say these 3 statements 3 times before you go to bed. He's how old? 7 years old. What does it mean? Allahu ma'i, Allah is with me. Allahu nadhiri, Allah is watching me. Allahu shahidi, Allah Ta'ala is observing me. So he said, when I was young, I started doing this, then every night before I would go to bed, I would say this 3 times. Then after some time, my uncle said, okay, why don't you increase it? Instead of saying 3 times, say 5 times. After some time, he said, okay, increase it more. When he became older, mature, he said, his uncle said to him, I want that these 3 statements become your litany. They become your wazifa. They become your dhikr for the rest of your life. Every night, before you go to bed, no matter what happens, remind yourself of these 3 statements. Why? Because one who has in his mind that Allah is with me, Allah is watching me, Allah is observing me, do you think that person will ever disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? One who's in his mind, he's always saying, Allah is with me, Allah is watching me, Allah is observing me. Do you think that person would have the guts to disobey the commandments of Allah? That's what taqwa is. Taqwa is this conscientiousness that a person develops. Allah is watching. And what I'm about to do, is it something that Allah would bring about the pleasure of Allah, or would it bring the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So here Allah Ta'ala in the ayah which I recited, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah. Allah is ordering, oh you who believe, have taqwa. You must have taqwa. Allah Ta'ala doesn't just mean it. Allah Ta'ala says what? وَقُولُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And be with those who are truthful. The actual thing that I wanted to focus on today was this word ma'a. Ma'a sadiq. And be with those who are sadiq. The fact of the matter is, if we want to develop any skill, if we want to develop any characteristic, we are not going to be able to develop until we sit with the people who have those characteristics. In the past, nowadays in modern times it's a bit different in certain cases, but even today it exists. But in the past, what used to happen is when people wanted to go into professions, there used to be these guilds. They still exist if you go into Japan and areas like that, where a person, they don't need to study everything. They want to go into a particular profession, and so they enroll in these guilds. And they work for decades until they master the skill. They work under masters. They work under skillful artisans, and they develop that skill. Even today, if you nowadays, if you watch some of these documentaries regarding Japan, the people who make knives, people who make food. I think a while ago I was watching some video on this master sushi chef. Decades of practice. And those who are underneath him, they work for decades perfecting that skill. But they cannot learn it until and unless they spend time with the master, that skillful artisan. Even today, we have the same idea here in the West, right? You want to learn, you want to go into medicine, well, there's a point in time we have to go through residency. The doctor observes what you're doing. You cannot develop skills until you sit with the people who master those skills. And here, this is what Allah Ta'ala says. And the example we see in our history is the Sahaba of Allah. What does Allah Ta'ala say about the Sahaba? محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا. Who are these people with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Muhammad is the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And those who are with him, you see the word here, ma'a. Those who are with him, what are their qualities? أشداء على. They have firmness against the kuffar, not because of the kuffar themselves, but because of the kufr. That's why it doesn't mean here now you have to be rude to the people, right? Oh, we're Muslims, so we're going to now be stern against the kuffar. No. The idea is that you have a dislike for kufr. You have a dislike for kufr. رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. They have mercy, compassion for one another. تَرَاهُمْ رُكَّعًا سُجَّدًا. You will see them, and their connection with Allah is that you will find them in ruku, you will find them in sujood. يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ وَرِضْوَانًا. There are people who are seeking the pleasure of Allah, the bounty of Allah. سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ. Their foreheads have the mark. Here are people who have subjugated themselves to the will of Allah. They physically worship Allah. Their hearts are connected to Allah. And the physical effect is, you see them in sajda, you see them in ruku. In fact, their foreheads shine. Their foreheads shine with a mark of success. In the hadith it comes that one time the Prophet ﷺ with the Sahaba went to the plains of Uhud. And he said, oh, how I wish I could meet my brothers. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, are we not your brothers? He said, you are my ashab, you are my companions. My brothers are those who will come later. He said, Ya Rasulullah, how will you recognize our brothers if you haven't seen them? He said, you will recognize them just like a man recognizes his horse. A horse that has a blaze on its forehead. You've seen those horses that's maybe dark in color, black or brown, but its forehead has this white blaze. Its feet have white on them. And that one horse is among all horses that are only black, only brown. Is that person able to recognize his horse? So like that, your brothers will be shining on the day of judgment because of their wudu. Their foreheads will be shining, their arms will be shining, their feet will be shining because of the athar of wudu. That's how you'll be able to recognize your brothers. That's how you'll be able to recognize your brothers. سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ مِنْ أَثَرِ السُّجُودِ. How were the Sahaba? Allah's praising them. Allah's praising them in the Quran. Who are with the Prophet وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ? Who are these Sahaba? Allah is praising them. أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم تَرَاهُمْ رُكَّعًا سُجَّدًا يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ وَرِضْوَانًا سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ. How did they get to this level? It's because of the ma'iyyah of the Prophet. They were with the Prophet. Siddiq Akbar became Siddiq Akbar because he was with the Prophet. Umar al-Faruq became Umar al-Faruq. Why? Because of the ma'iyyah of the Prophet. Ahsan al-Ghani, Ali al-Murtada, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in. Individuals we praise. In fact, one time among the scholars of our past, Syed, somebody asked him, he said, what is the definition of Siddiq? Siddiq ki ta'rif kya? What is the definition of Siddiq? Somebody asked Syed. He said, two words. Siddiq is the mirror of the world. Person who is given the maqam of Siddiq, he is the mirror, he's not a Nabi. But he demonstrates, he portrays nubuwwah. How did they reach that maqam? They reach that maqam through the ma'iyyah of the Prophet. And it's that same ma'iyyah that will either bring a person benefit or loss. Yawm al-Qiyamah, a person will be crying in front of Allah Ta'ala. Al-akhillahu, yawma'idhin ba'duhum, ba'din aduwwun. People who are friends in this world, they will be on the day of judgment enemies in their muttaqun, except for those who have taqwa. يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا لقد أضلني عن الذكر. A person will cry, oh, how woe be unto me! Why did I take so and so as a friend? He misguided me, he misled me. If only I had listened and obeyed to the Prophet. What I'm trying to say here is, for ourselves and our children, it is absolutely essential that we watch the company of it. If we're not regularly coming to the masjid, if we are not regularly reciting the Quran in our homes, what type of environment do you think we and our children are experiencing on a day-to-day basis? If we're not coming every day to the masjid, even for one prayer, imagine the kind of dhulumat that is surrounding us that's affecting our heart. Then what do we expect? Then what can we expect except for kufr and shirk and atheism entering our homes? It's a reality. It's a reality that we're facing today. If we ourselves do not make the effort to come to the masjid every day, even for one prayer, if we do not make the effort to make an environment in our home where together the family is reciting the Quran, I tell you, my dear respected brothers, generations later, our progeny will be lost. Our progeny I ask all the brothers if they can move forward, inshallah, so that there's space for the people who are coming.
Please come forward, fill all the rows first. Because other people are waiting outside.
So in any case, what we need to focus on now, I understand making extreme changes is very difficult, so what we do is we make small changes. I've said this before, and you'll probably hear me say it again. We have to make sure, for example, we are coming to the masjid every day for one prayer. Whether it be Maghrib, it could be Isha, it could be Fajr, one prayer every day in the masjid, doesn't matter what happens. Is it difficult? Yes, it's difficult. For those who don't have the habit, it's very difficult. Every day, we're going to spend time reciting the Quran as a family. If we're just simply listening to this khutbah and we say it's a good khutbah, mashallah, that's great, and we leave and we don't do anything, then these khutbahs will continue. I'll do a khutbah, somebody else will do a khutbah tomorrow, I'm gone, somebody else will be there. These khutbahs will continue. But if we don't actually make a resolve to change ourselves, no change is going to happen. You'll just listen to Jummah after Jummah khutbah, you listen to Eid. That's all it will be. All it will be is talk that we listen for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we enjoyed, it was good, Imam Sahib gave a good talk, and then we're back to our normal lives. And then on Qiyamah, when we have to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now there's no point. Now all your good people are closed. So this resolve and this intention that we will come to the masjid for one. If you're already not coming to the masjid, if you're coming to the masjid, then make intention for two. If you're not coming to the masjid regularly, go to your local masjid, local musalla is, and we're going to come for one prayer every day. People ask me all the I'm worried about my children. I don't know my sons, or what's happening to them when they're going to colleges and schools. SubhanAllah, I said, do you go to the masjid with them? I say, no, sometimes. SubhanAllah, you're worried you're not materializing anything. So, one prayer, we're going to pray in the masjid with our children. And every day we're going to take out 15 to 20 minutes reciting the Quran with our family. You get your wife involved, you get your children involved, just 15 minutes. That's it, great job. Great job, make it 15 minutes, that's it. If you are not already reciting the Quran, if you're already reciting the Quran, whatever your regimen is, continue with that. We're not going to expect any type of change if you don't take the first steps. If you continue to live on apathetic, well, that's how life is just going to pass by. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq to understand, bring about these changes in our life, make us people whose hearts are connected to the masjid, whose hearts are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how we gain al-ma'iyyah. That's how we then improve like the Sahaba. Quick du'as, we have Anis Sultan, Shafi Muhammad, both are ill. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them shifa.